Hello, so welcome to a new year and a new reading vlog. I don't really know what I'm doing with reading vlogs this year, but we will work it out, I guess. So this is the beginning of the year where I'm planning not to work. I actually planned to not work for most of last year, and then I ended up getting sucked into doing a contract. It was very stressful and I kind of regret doing it. So this year we're committed to not working. Hopefully that means I'll be able to get lots of reading done. Well, I also have lots of other things I want to do, like honestly, too many things. Everyone keeps asking me, oh, won't you be bored if you're not working? Honestly, no. I don't know how people could be bored without work because there are so many other things to do. But anyway, let's talk about the books that I'm going to be reading this week-ish. It's Tuesday now. Honestly, since we came back from our road trip holiday over Christmas and New Year's, I don't really ever know what day it is. So apparently it's Tuesday. Doesn't necessarily feel like any particular day anymore because I don't know. But I just went to the library and I picked up these books. So these will probably be the books that I'm going to read this week. They all feel very small. Maybe I've been reading really big books lately. I don't know. Anyway, firstly, I've got Tread of Angels by Rebecca Roanhorse. This, I don't actually know much about it, but it's the author of Black Sun and also, more importantly, the Six Worlds series that I really love. I really wish she'd stop writing other books and just get back to that series. But still, this is a nice little short novella type thing that I thought I would read by her. And I guess once I get into it, I can tell you what it's actually about. I also have A Storm of Sisters, so I'm still trying to finish off all my series this year. And this is the fourth. I'm not sure if it's final, but the fourth book in the Pinch of Magic series, or I don't know if the series is called something else. Yeah, A Pinch of Magic. Basically about these sisters whose family has magical abilities, but they've gone on a few different adventures since then. Again, I don't know what this particular one is about, but I'm excited to read it. And actually, I thought there were only going to be 2 books for me at the library, but there was this other one, Bear Triangle by Lily Singh. I don't know anything about this, but I saw someone mention it the other day, and I do remember putting a hold on it at the library, so I guess we'll read it. It's some kind of self-help book. It looks like it'll be a super quick read. I've just seen it has adorable pictures in it. Can you see that? I think I've got this set to super bright. Anyway, it looks like it'll be a really quick read. It says, how I went from being lost to getting my life into shape. I don't know. Since I'm not working, maybe I'm going to try and get my life into shape, recover from that year of stressful work. Who knows? Also this year, considering moving out of Auckland, to be able to properly consider that, I need to sort out all my shit. I need to declutter the house, fix up a bunch of things, and just decide what I'm doing. So I guess I am trying to get my life into shape this year, but I don't really know what shape that is. And honestly, all this rain doesn't make me feel productive at all, but I am going to try and be productive today. I'm trying to get back into BookTube. I'm trying to get lots of reading done. I'm trying to sort out my house. I just brought back my guitar amp from my boyfriend's place where he's been renting it out to people because he runs like a band rehearsal place. So I'm going to try and get back into playing guitar. I want to make art. Like, honestly, there are so many things to do. How do people get bored when they're not working? Like, I can understand wanting the structure of work, but I can't really understand being bored. I think I just don't really know how to be bored, except for, I do find some books boring. I guess I understand finding certain things boring, but like if those things are boring, do something else. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to try and be productive today. Hello, I am still in my car, but it is a new day, new location. I had to come to the supermarket because it turns out I have no food. Also, I needed to send my brother's Christmas present, even though it's very late. But that's what he gets for living in Australia. So I wanted to update you on my reading. I have been reading Tread of Angels. To be honest, I think I'm only about 38 pages in. That's primarily because I was being productive yesterday and doing other things. But also, I do find sometimes Rebecca Roanhorse's writing can be a little bit hard to read. I don't find that in the Six Worlds series, but in the Black Sun series, I found it a little bit like that. I think it's just that sometimes she doesn't clearly explain what's happening, and so you have to really pay attention to the details to pick up what's happening. And there's a lot to this world kind of being dumped on you right at the beginning as well. So we've got this world where there's essentially angels and demons. They're called the elect and the fallen. In the past, the fallen had some kind of rebellion led by Lucifer, which has led them to being like lower tier citizens. except in this mining town where they have this ability that lets them mine divinity. Not clear on all the details yet, but it does sound really interesting. We're following this girl who works at a casino, and she is half angel, half demon, and her sister is also half angel, half demon, but she's passing. She's able to pretend that she's like an angel type person, whereas her sister is not. And then her sister has now been accused of murder. One thing is that we haven't actually met her sister, so it makes it hard for me to like really connect with their relationship and feel worried about her when I've never met her. And there's a lot of just like waiting for more information, even though we're only 40 pages in. But she has found out that she's probably going to have to go to her ex-demon boyfriend, who's very high up on the demon hierarchy, and get his help. So we'll see what happens with that. I am going to try and read some more of this today, but I am going to also try to have a productive day. I'm going to try. No promises. I also remembered, actually, I forgot to tell you about the other thing that I'm reading. I always have an audiobook on the go, or I try to. And I am reading The Boatman's Daughter. Who's it by? Andy Davidson. I believe this is like a horror. It does have very atmospheric writing, and it feels a little bit fantasy, but I don't think it's actually fantasy. Although it's sometimes hard to tell when it's written so descriptively and so... I don't know, it's kind of written quite magically, so you can't tell if some of the elements are actually leaning into that horror supernatural side of things, or whether it's just written as if it's like that. Also, it has been taking me a little while to keep track of all the characters. Sometimes struggle with this with audiobooks, and I think again just the way that it's written so atmospherically, you kind of get caught up in all the descriptions, and then it doesn't always clearly say which characters are who, but I think I'm getting the point. We basically have this girl whose father died, and somewhere along the way she's also ended up looking after this child who is deaf and has like webbed fingers, so he's not quite normal, and they're somehow involved in like drug smuggling or something. There's some dangerous people around, some rumors that maybe something bad's going to happen. I don't really know. I am enjoying the atmosphere, so hopefully I'll get a bit clearer on what is actually happening soon. I'm only 20% of the way through. It's a fairly short audiobook though, only 9 hours, so hopefully I can make some good progress on that today as well, and hopefully I can make some progress on decluttering. I'm going to try my wardrobe and my closet, get them at least sorted out into like the different categories today, whether I'm going to keep things, sell things, donate things, throw things away. My closets are like the biggest drama. So if I could get those sorted out, or at least get them sorted into sections, maybe I'll need a section for things that still need more attention to sort them out. Anyway, I'm going to try and do that today. I'm going to also try and do some video stuff today. I'm probably going to try and fix my roots a bit, just relax. Gotta remember to relax, not just try and be productive all the time. Maybe I'll even go for a run later. It seems like maybe it's stopped raining, but you can never trust it lately, even though it's meant to be summer. Hello, so I'm halfway through my books. I thought I'd give you an update, but also an update on my decluttering. I have managed to empty out my wardrobe, but I now am living in a mess. I don't know if you can see the full extent of the mess. I don't know if I want you to see the full extent of the mess. I did find my cat ears though, so that is one good thing about it. Most of the stuff behind me really just needs to be boxed up and like donated to a charity shop or something. And I've put things that I want to sell in my haul cupboard, so we're making progress. I do think Chase is probably going to debate whether some of the things I put in this wardrobe, which are things I want to keep, whether they're actually worthy of keeping, but I'm going to keep them. There's also lots of things where like I'm not sure, like this is this little puzzle thing that my uncle made when I was young, and like, do I need this? 100% no, but am I really proud that I know how to do it? Yes. So I don't know if I want to get rid of this. I kind of just like having it as a thing that I can do. But what do you do with things like this that are like cool, but like, do you need them? No. Will anybody else ever find value from this? Probably not. Or at least not as much as I find. So I don't know, but I am definitely making progress at downsizing and tidying shit up, even if it's taking longer than I would have liked. And I'm not getting as much video stuff as I would have liked to do as a result. But whatever, Let me tell you about my reading. I am halfway through this now. To be honest, not that much more has happened, although we are finding out about some things about the murder, which suggests that her sister was keeping secrets. And to be honest, we have now met the sister, and part of me is just like, maybe she did it. Oops, the battery in my camera ran out. Anyway, I know that's not what the main character wants, but I think it would be more fun if her sister actually murdered this guy, but maybe she had a good reason. I will say, like, I feel like I'm not getting to know the characters in this book well enough, even though I also feel like things are going fairly slow for a novella. So I'm a little bit confused about the story, but I guess we'll see where we get to by the end. I'm also halfway through The Boatman's Daughter. This, I think I'm understanding what's happening better now, although it is very strange. We're kind of following these children who are having to deal with the violence of most of the men that are around them, and also like some witchy things that the mothers maybe were involved in, and things are getting somewhat dangerous. There's also like horror elements where it's not really clear if it's supernatural or not, or if it's just the perspective of the characters that we're hearing from, but it definitely has that horror vibe. I haven't read a lot of horror, and what I have read I often don't like, and I often don't like when it's not clear if it's supernatural or not, but with this one I'm not minding it, because it's not like the book is making you wonder, it's just like it's not clear. I don't think I'm making it clear what the difference is, but anyway, I'm not minding it. I wouldn't say I'm loving it, but I'm not minding it. Same with this one. Like I'm interested, but I don't think it's going to be a favorite. Either way, I'm going to keep reading these. Actually, what I'm doing is watching Carrie Kim Reed's synopsis plot summary of A Court of Silver Flames, which is the fourth A Court of Thorns and Roses book. That's not a series that I particularly like, but there may be some relation to the Crescent City books, which also I hated the second one, so I don't know if I want to continue, but I do like the way Carrie Kim Reed does these plot summaries, so I thought I'll watch it, and then maybe I can decide whether I want to give that third Crescent City book a go when it comes out. Assuming there is one. I really don't know what's going to happen with that series. But anyway, let me go and sort out all my shit. If you set yourself on fire, I never let you burn. Hello. So I'm no longer living in a mess, although there are some secret messes still around my house, but all of those are going to be problems for next week, because I'm going to go around to Jason's house for the rest of the weekend and just try and enjoy the sunshine, which has reappeared. Finally, we had like a really great time while we were away camping over New Year's, and then it's just been raining since we got back. But I think it's meant to be sunny for a little while, which is good because we might go away for another road trip next week. But anyway, over the last couple of days, I have also finished the books I was reading. So Treat of Angels, I actually finished at my infusion, which if you've watched my vlogs for a while, you know I'm usually pretty terrible at reading during those infusions, even though I just sit there for 3 hours doing nothing, but apparently my focus is not that good. But this, I think because the pages are so short and also the chapters are very short, it's easy to feel like you're making progress. But unfortunately, like, this was fine. I really like the world building, and I think it's kind of stink that this is just a novella, and as far as I know, she's not planning to write any more in the world, because I think the world has a lot of potential in it. But this particular story, like, the whole murder mystery plot is not that interesting, and like her investigation of what actually happened is pretty lackluster, and I think I would have liked it if it had been like a full-length book and like more fully developed, because there was a lot of potential in there, but in the end I don't think it was really realized. And as well, I felt like the ending, even though maybe it was surprising, it was also quite unsatisfying to me. So I think this is a 3-star. Like, it was okay, but a little bit frustrating that it wasn't better, because I think it had the potential to be better. The other thing that I was reading was The Boatman's Daughter, and this is another one where the writing style was so atmospheric and so descriptive that I did like it, but I don't feel like the writing style matched the story, and I think that made it really hard to follow what was happening in the story. And when like the supernatural horror stuff really gets into it, I still was like, no, but is this actually happening, or are you just describing things? in a particular way, but it was happening. But I felt like the mix of like this atmospheric fairy tale writing with this horrific, realistic situation didn't gel for me. So again, it was fine, but I never really felt engaged in it. So we're not off to the best start with reading this year. And to be honest, the next couple of things I'm going to pick up, I'm not expecting to be super favorites either. But next week, there's a new Kate Daniels book coming out. So that one I'm expecting to just super love. But this one is the next one. I'm going to take it to Jason's place because he's got some bands practicing there while I'm going to be there. So maybe I'll have some reading time. And this should be a fairly quick read, just a middle grade. And once I've read this, I'll have caught up in the series. I don't know if there's a plan to be more books in this series or not. Originally, I thought it was a trilogy, but this would be the 4th book. And really, it follows these sisters in this world where some people have witchy type powers, including their family. This one, I don't really know what it's about. And so like with that setup, potentially there could be endless books. But I'm hoping it will just be a fun, quick read. The other thing that I have started listening to is my audiobook of Sign Here by, I've forgotten who it's by, Claudia Lux. So this is following a guy who works in hell getting people to sign deals. And I'm not far into it yet, but I think the plan is that we'll get kind of his experience in hell, which is kind of just like a corporate bullshit job where everything goes wrong all the time. But like just in a medium shitty all the time kind of way, like your pens never work, you always stand in puddles, all that kind of nonsense like constantly. But as well, he's really focusing on this one family and trying to get them to make a deal, because if you can get like different generations to sign a deal, then you get like a promotion or something. Anyway, I haven't read much yet, but I'm enjoying it okay so far. I'm not sure I'm a fan of the audiobook narrator, but I should be able to make some progress with that and get a decent amount into it while I drive to Jason's and back. And then I guess I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about it. And I guess that's all for now. Let's go and enjoy the sunshine. Hello. So somehow it is Tuesday. I'm not really sure how. I had an okay weekend. It's been quite muggy though, and now I'm feeling really tired and kind of and I think the ongoing mugginess is not helping with that. But I'm trying to get back into being a little bit productive. We're thinking of going on a road trip next week, so I need to kind of get my shit together a little bit before we go and do that. So let me update you on my reading. I'm just past halfway of Sign Here. In the beginning, I was feeling like it was quite slow because you're skipping back and forwards between Peyote and Calamity in hell. I can't remember what I've told you about this book so far. I think maybe nothing. But this guy named Peyote Trip. You get a stupid name when you go to hell in this world. And he is trying to get like a full set of deals made with this Harrison's family, you know, deals for their soul where they will then go to hell. We're also getting the story of that family as they go away to their summer house with the daughter's friend. And there's a lot of like stuff going on. The brother of the father, or the uncle of the kids, he had killed this girl and then went to jail and ended up dying. I suspect that's not really what happened, but just because we're following both the stuff that's happening in hell as well as this family's story, I felt like it was a bit slow to get going in both those stories. But now that we're about halfway through, we're starting to get some connections between those two stories and really starting to see where things might be going to go wrong or where people might not have been telling the truth previously. And I think I'm getting into it now. It's a bit of a slow start, but I think we're getting there. I read most of what I've read so far last night when I went for a super long walk. And I'm going to go for a walk tonight, so I'll read some more then, but I think I'm going to try and do it with my mum and my sister, so that will mean less audiobook time, so I'm not sure. But I kind of just want to get through it now because I'm at that point where it's getting exciting. The other thing that I did do is I've started A Storm of Sisters, but I haven't really gotten very far, like a few chapters in, and the chapters are all really short, and it's just really fun and light because it's a middle grade book. following these sisters. So in this one, they are going to see their dad's cousin who lives out in wilderness in the middle of this like snowy valley where there is a ghost story about a crystal ball, and it's all very spooky but also just really fun. I do really like the way that Michelle Harrison writes the family dynamics and just the sisters, how they're all very different and like they don't get along but they also do get along. And there was a little introduction on this where she talked about how this was kind of based on her experience as a sister, and I do think the sisters are written really well and they're part of what makes this story really fun. But as I said, I'm not very far through yet, so we'll see if I can get further through this. To be honest, I also got my ebook come through for Magic Tides, which is a new Kate Daniels book. If you don't know the Kate Daniels series, it's here on my shelves. It's one of my favorite series and it was supposedly done after 10 books. There's a couple of spin-off series that haven't been getting new books released very often, even though I would love to have more books in that world. But now we're getting this one, which I'm excited about. I think it's set kind of after Kate and her love interest. Like in the main books, they end up kind of in these leadership positions, but then they try to take a step back and just focus on themselves and their family. And I think in this one, they're still trying to do that. They've moved to a new town, but they end up getting roped into a new mystery to solve, new people to save, and the whole idea of keeping low profile isn't working out. So I really kind of want to drop everything and read this. However, I also know that having a book on my Kindle, and one that I'm super excited about, would be the best kind of book to take away on our road trip. So I think I'm going to try and save it for next week, but I'm a little bit sad about that. But also, I've still got to finish this off, so we'll do that. Other than that, today I'm just going to try and film some videos, even though really I just want to go back to bed. But I need to get some stuff done this week. It's already Tuesday, so hopefully I can manage. Hello, so I have not made any progress on this book since I talked to you, I think like 2 days ago. I've been trying to sort out a bunch of things and get a bunch of video stuff ready before we go away on our next road trip. And I just haven't had the brain space even for reading like a middle grade book. But I did finish reading Sign Here. Did I tell you about that already? No, I did not. The ending of it was both I didn't like it and I did like it. It's kind of 3 stories in this story. One is just kind of a normal family thriller with this uncle that murdered someone and a bunch of drama going on around that while they're away on this family holiday. That story I actually really liked and the end got very thrilling. But the story with Peyote Trip in Hell, like it was okay, but nothing much really happened. And even though it was connected to this family thriller, like it didn't need to be. It didn't really influence much of what actually happened. As well, there's a third story, which is kind of like one of the characters in Hell's backstory. And it's like all based around cults. And that whole part was kind of confusing. And again, not that relevant to the rest of the story. So I almost wish that this had just been the family drama. But honestly, even though I liked that part, I never would have picked this book up based on that synopsis alone. It was the part about hell that got me interested in it. But like a lot of the stuff about hell didn't make sense. There's this whole thing where they talk about hell being out of time and how they can go to any period of time on Earth. But still, there were also parts where like, we've got to hurry and get to Earth. Like, do you? Because there's no rush. You're going to live for the rest of eternity. Also, there's a part where in hell he's trying to avoid drinking the water. And so he just drinks coffee. Now, I don't drink coffee, but I'm pretty sure that coffee has water in it, so what? Yeah, I just thought there were quite a few bits about hell that didn't really make sense, but it wasn't really trying to make the hell part realistic at all. It was kind of just like a humorous insert to the story. I don't often like humor in books, so that wasn't my favorite part, but I did kind of like this book, but mainly for the thriller part. So that was unexpected. Anyway, I do think I'm going to end this vlog here because I gotta sort my shit out before we go away on holiday. I don't know when I'm gonna read this now because I'm probably not gonna take it on holiday because I want to read Magic Tides. So I don't know, but anyway, let me know if you've read any of the books that I talked about in this video or if you have any thoughts about them, because I would love to talk with you about it down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well and I will see you next time.